Yo, what's up, guys? This is Insane,
And this is PopAfat1.
and we're the Fat American duo, and we're here with our friend BicBoii.
What's up, guys?
And we're going to give you guys a review and a first 10 minutes of Wolfenstein The New Order. So here we go.
In my dream, I smell the barbecue. I hear children. A dog. And I see someone. I think I see someone. These things. None of it for me. I'm moved by roaring engines. Not lone warriors. We come from the night.
Eyes open, Blazkowicz. You keep the lookout. I need to go to the press. Shite! Fuck! Fuck! No, not today. Blazkowicz, go back into the flight deck. Clamp the fuel line.
Alright, so here we are, and we play as BJ Blazkowicz, our main character. He plays him as in all the Wolfensteins, right?
Pretty much all the Wolfensteins, yeah.
Alright, and then we also saw our guy Fergus there, right? He's main character in this game. Pretty much him, and then one other character are the defining Wyatt. You're forced to make a choice pretty early in the game, which will lead you along two different paths. Do they vary greatly, Hunter?
Yeah, well, every cutscene in the game is different depending on which option you pick.
Oh, okay. Playing through the game, I'd say, they do a very good job at creating the environment, of post-World War II Germany and the world for that matter, the Nazis. It's pretty interesting. It's just kind of like, well, what if this is happening? You get to actually play in that universe, and it's pretty crazy.
For those of you who've never played Wolfenstein before, Wolfenstein is basically a game that is about if the Nazis had won World War II, what would the world be like?
Yeah, the depth of the environment is just astounding. It's pretty awesome. Playing through the game, it jumps around a little bit. From time periods, you got like 1940 to 1960, and it's really awesome. It's really fun to play in, and they do a really good job with the characters. And the main character, for that matter, very,
very.
Blazkowicz. They do a very good job at developing it.
The thing is, no level in this game is pretty much the same. You're pretty much doing something different in every level of the game. I'm in this game.
Yeah, the level variety is it's very good. You get to enjoy a whole lot of different environments. For instance, you're running around Berlin. That's this huge metropolis of concrete. And it's insane, and then it's almost like a city prison. There's Nazis everywhere. There's little security everywhere. There's fences, blown up cars and stuff like that, and people, and it's really engaging. They engage you very well as a player.
Yeah, and the Nazis are, just as sinister as they were before they won the war. They still have prison camps, they still make you do physical labor, and if you do something wrong, they'll just make you work until you die and then burn your body for fuel.
Yeah, they definitely do a good job at showing all of the characteristics of the so-called quote-unquote Nazi. What we think of Nazis, they do a very good job at hitting all those soft points.
Because the Nazi war machine in this game advanced far faster than any country.
Yeah, it's you get that fictional storyline where since Germany had won the war, they put all their money into military technology.
Just so it's never be.
The gameplay in this game is pretty easy to get the hang of. I wouldn't say. The controls are different than most games, but they're not crazy different. Just slight modifications when it comes to triggers and stuff.
I find it hard to think because you have to use two
You
buttons.
have to lean, and then you have to aim, and then shoot, so I ended up like 3 buttons of pressing.
Do it math.
It takes some thinking at some points.
Honestly, I didn't really use the lean much. Throughout the whole game, I really didn't use it.
Yeah, you don't use leaning much if you're playing on a lower difficulty. If you really want to challenge yourself, playing on something like I Am Death Incarnate or Uber, you really have to use all of the mechanics of the game just to survive a wave of enemies, and then they just keep coming and coming. It's an onslaught of enemies.
Yeah, well then you bring up the officer function.
Yeah, the officer. basically, this game, if any of you ever played Dishonored, it's kind of like that, where like the fact that you have to sneak around, and if there's these guys called officers, and on the top left of your screen you'll see a thing called Signal, and it'll show you a meter mark to tell you how far away you are from the officer.
Yeah, pretty much lets you know when an officer's in range.
Yeah, if he spots you, he'll broadcast the radio, and more reinforcements will keep coming until you kill him.
And they don't stop.
Yeah.
Until you kill him.
Literally endless waves of enemies. You know, but it's interesting. You know, it definitely adds.
It adds
you know,
more
difficulty.
more of a
for
creature.
sure. You know, if you can't get to this guy, if you spook him, and he barricaded himself behind 20 guys,
It's gonna take you a long time.
you're gonna have to either somehow sneak your way around there,
Or you hear me run around for a long time trying to find health armor.
Yeah, exactly. And the higher the difficulty, have you noticed, is it harder to find ammunition and stuff like that?
It
if you're
is,
higher?
but it's there's always ammo in there, health in there. See, the thing about this game though is every single time you talk to someone, there's always a cutscene. Like right now, there's a cutscene.
Yeah,
Brief
here you
little
go.
cutscenes every time you talk to someone.
These cutscenes are graphics, I'd say. They're pretty freaking good,
Yeah.
especially for we're playing it on the PS3 and there's 360 and also next gen versions. But these cutscenes are really good.
I find it would put some stress on the console, but it handles it quite nicely.
Yeah, and it doesn't. The transitions aren't too bad. You know, there is some loading times, but as you just saw, they're relatively quick, so you don't get that stop and go. It's in the middle of a important part of the game because it does. Quite frequently, they put in cutscenes where it's an important part of the game or an exciting part of the game.
And this is our other main character, Wyatt, right here. Wyatt and Fergus are the two main characters that will influence the entire game later on.
Yeah, they're pretty much the choice as to what path.
There's a
you're
Fergus timeline and a Wyatt timeline. Depending on which timeline you choose, I think I already said this, but every cutscene in the game is different.
Besides the story, progression, when it comes to level, like each level individually, if you can approach it two different ways. You can approach it the guns blazing way, and you can approach it the sneaking way. And it definitely offers a depth to each level.
Half hour.
You're gonna experience both of them either way. You're gonna try and sneak, but it's not always gonna work. It just gets so difficult to sneak through some levels.
People in this game, or enemies in this game, are
They're
bullet
they're
sponges.
sinister, man. They don't let up.
There's some serious bullet sponges. You're pouring lead into them, and they're just taking it. And they will knock your health and armor down really quick.
Outclassed and outgunned.
So here's another cutscene, and you get to see a little bit of the technology that the Nazi war machine has created. You got these robot dogs.
In 1942.
Yeah. And then later on in the game, you'll face kind of like different mechanized versions of soldiers and stuff like that. And it makes the game a heck of a lot more difficult. If you enter a room, one of those big guys are in there, you're like, oh.
Because they're completely plated with armor. You can't shoot them until you shoot their armor off.
What's your status?
And they still have mountains of armor, so it's like killing them 6 times over.
Yeah.
Some kind of armored hell beast is trying to fucking eat us. No joke.
Same problem here. Shacked up inside dead wreckage.
Is that you over there? Hey, Private Wyatt, flash your lights. Blasco, can you see the
Now here we have BJ's talking to Fergus over in that plane. I think it's Wyatt over there, right?
Yeah, Fergus and Wyatt.
Yeah, they're both over there. They throw the choice at you pretty quickly in this
They
game.
do.
Almost at the end of the first level, right?
Yeah.
It's the first level. So at the end of the first level, you have to choose which way you're gonna go. And besides the having to pick two different ones, I didn't really feel that I was gonna miss out on anything.
I find that the Wyatt timeline is significantly better than the Fergus timeline.
Oh, okay. I mean, I enjoyed the Fergus timeline. I played it all the way to the end. I enjoyed it a lot.
I played both of them. They were both great timelines. I think overall this game they did a really good job. I would give this game probably an 8 out of 10. Just only downside is the fact that the game is so linear. There's only one way to go in the game, and I kind of like. It's just my preference because I kind of like open world game.
Yeah, you're playing point A to point B, and that's pretty much what's gonna happen. I'd say definitely if you can afford to give it a chance, give it a chance.
Yeah, I would maybe rent this game first, see if you like it. Watch some reviews like this one. Rent the game, and then buy it if you like it. Play the rest of it.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and check out all of our other videos. Thanks again.